Sego KahnawakeTV, Ohén Ratitsénhaienhs Cody Diabo here. Wanting to give you an update. Too much to put into one release. I had a lot of high-level meetings over the last week, starting from February 5th. So I wanted to go over those meetings with you to give you an update as to what had happened and what was transpiring. So on February 5th, I was outside of the community. I was in a meeting with AFNQL. I drove to Quebec City as there was a opportunity to make presentations to Quebec's Assembly to discuss their constitution. I've spoken about that over the course of about a year now. The concerns that we've had with it, updating at community meetings. So this was an opportunity, not a very good opportunity, I'll say at the end of the day. There was 8 minutes allotted for presentations from First Nations. So I have a good relationship with AFNQL's Regional Chief, Francis Paul. So he called me right away at the beginning of the week asking if I wanted to join them on February 5th. So I did. I was given 2 minutes to have a conversation or to put out our points in terms of what Quebec Constitution means to us. Again, as I had stated numerous occasions, our view is it needs to be explicit in there that this has no force and effect on First Nations people. Whatever Quebec decides to do for their people, that's their business, but we are not Quebec citizens at the end of the day. That was the message I brought there. In terms of question and answer period afterwards, there was about 20 minutes, so we only in total got about 30 minutes of exposure time. We did have some meetings with the media outside of the assembly room. There was also some issues in terms of one of the Atikamekw chiefs not being allowed entry into the room as they were carrying an eagle staff. They had stated it was against their procedures and could be viewed as a weapon and all this normal rhetoric. So very upsetting and very timely to be in a discussion about a Quebec Constitution, and there's no effects on First Nations rights. That's what they kept telling us, but yet here First Nations leaders weren't able to enter the room. We're still monitoring that. There is a lot of opposition, I'll say, from Quebec's other political parties, so Parti Québécois and Quebec Solidaire. They don't support this. It's very concerning that the CAQ government is going to keep pursuing this. Hopefully they change course in light of everything that their party is facing. But if they continue to go down this road, Kahnawake will respond in kind, as we always do. Moving on to another meeting that I had on February 6th. So after I got back into the community, the next day I had a virtual meeting with Ministers Girard, he's the Quebec Finance Minister, and Minister Yann Lafrenière. He is the Minister for Relations with First Nations. So we were discussing Quebec's other bill, Bill 5, where, we've been talking about Canada's C5. Ontario passed a bill called Bill 5, and now Quebec is attempting their own, which is to fast-track major projects. A lot of concern, again, in there. It's centralizing everything at the Finance Ministry to give approvals and authorizations for projects, very little consultation. Consultation in general with the Quebec government is severely lacking. Our views on it don't meet what Quebec's views are on it, so we're always in constant struggles over the consultation aspects. However, there's a lot of other concerns on there in terms of environmental requirements. It seems, Canada is responding to things that are coming down from the United States, but at what cost at the end of the day? So we had to convey a lot of our concerns with fast-tracking bills. The Quebec government doesn't have a good track record in terms of fast-tracking things. We think that there needs to be ample time to consult with First Nations, and we need to be brought in at the beginning of it, not at the end when authorizations are already given. And as it's phrased, it's if warranted. So they'll only consult with us at the authorization phase if it's warranted. So that's already a non-starter. So we are in communication with that ministry, and Minister Girard had agreed and committed to future meetings and in person as well, so that we can flesh out our concerns and how to move forward. We keep referencing the MOU that we had signed with Quebec that we would attempt to peacefully coexist. But to date, it's been a struggle on Quebec's end to fulfill those commitments. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction. All this, in the guise of a provincial election that's happening in October. So, and the recent announcements with the CAQ Premier, François Legault. resigning. They're in a leadership race, so we're not sure what's the future of the CAQ government at this moment. Moving forward to the meeting that I had on February 11th, which is a presentation to the Standing Committee at the federal government for a bill called Bill C-12. A lot of bills coming out this way, I understand. It's getting really heavy at this moment. But this bill is about increased powers to the Coast Guard, increased powers to Canada Border Patrol agents, different requirements now in terms of when you're crossing the border with large sums of money. So we had a lot of concern. I was contacted by Regional Chief Abram Benedict for the Chiefs of Ontario. He had recommended to the Standing Committee that I present. So last minute, we developed everything that we could. I have the team right now at MCK really breaking down the bill to put in writing this, our concerns with it overall. But generally our concerns, given that the Seaway is right there, that's international waters, what type of expanded powers are they trying to give the Coast Guard? How is that going to affect First Nation, affect our rights at the end of the day and our territory? Those waters are still ours. We never ceded jurisdiction to them. As well with the border, we know there is a lot of issues around the border, mostly going down south. There's a lot of concerns, but coming back home, so Canada doesn't recognize the Jay Treaty. That's something that I'm actively involved in as well to ensure that Canada adopts standalone legislation. So right now it's grouped under immigration and refugee Canada. We are not immigrants nor refugees at the end of the day. So we need to be pushing hard on this bill as well. So I conveyed a lot of my concerns to the members of the Standing Committee about this and the need that Canada needs to adopt standalone legislation and actually acknowledge and recognize the Jay Treaty. Their overlords, the Great Britain, accepted it when Great Britain still held Canada's constitution. So the fact that Canada is taking this approach is unacceptable. So these are just some of the things that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. More information will be coming out on these once we get more info in terms of responses from both the provincial and federal government. So until next time, Nyawago for listening and have a good weekend. Ona.